is over Jordan, deep, deep river, Lord. I want to cross over into campground. Don't you want to go there to that gospel feast? Just beyond that river, Lord, where we'll live in peace. Deep river, my home is over Jordan. Deep, deep river, Lord, I want to cross over into campground. In the 16, 17, 1800s, slaves in Alabama and Mississippi and Georgia, South Carolina sang that song, Deep River. My home is over Jordan, deep river. I want to cross over into campground. And when they sang that song, standing in Mississippi and Georgia and Alabama, they were very convinced about their song and the strength of it. The master stood on the porch, standing in Mississippi, and he said to Miss Ann, "My, but the Negroes do sing that so well, my dear." And Miss Ann said back to her, "Why, Charles, you know they really just do it so naturally." Charles and Ann went to bed that night thinking that the slaves were singing about going to heaven. Deep river, can't you see? I mean, I could see it. When I first heard that song, I could see it. My home is over Jordan, Lord, I see it. I could see it. I wanted to go there. And then I realized, when I began to study history, that my ancestors sang that song not so that they could get to heaven. My ancestors were like Jesus and like Augustine. They were old-fashioned Christians. They believed in that segment what Jesus taught us, on earth as it is in heaven. Slaves at that particular point weren't trying necessarily to get to heaven. They were trying to get to Deep River, the same Deep River that's somewhere over there. That same Deep River that so many counties in North Carolina are a part of, that same Deep River that we pass when you go to Charlotte. You see the little sign all the time, Deep River Basin. Deep River, cross the Deep River. Slaves saying they wanted to come cross the Deep River because if you could get into campground. And this was campground. Greensboro, High Point, Winston-Salem was where the General Green, who now makes beer on the corner, General Green kept his soldiers, and they called the place campground. So when the slaves sang, "Deep River, my home is over Jordan, I want to cross over into campground," it sounded like heaven, but it was North Carolina. They were in Mississippi, and their prayer was, "Lord, if you can just get me to that place called North Carolina. If you just let me cross the Deep River. If you let me get to campground," because those people at the campground, you know, those Christian people there, they love the Lord. They believe in what you said, "Thy kingdom come." Those people. So tonight you've heard David talk about our challenge, and you will hear another challenge. But I'd like to issue one to you that is inherent in the song Deep River. Today, people want to come to Deep River because they want to get on the Underground Railroad still. They're not coming out of slavery, they're coming out of Mexico. They're coming out of Niger, the very place where people are dying because there's war. I just finished spending about 10 years getting people to migrate, helping them migrate from Niger to Greensboro, North Carolina. People want to come here where you are, because if they can get to where you are, still, to this very day, if they can get to where you are, then maybe they can get to freedom. So it's not, I leave you by saying I don't think it's Guilford County, it's all the people of Guilford County. You're special. Answers won't come from Boston. I don't know if anybody went to Harvard. They're not going to come from Yale. They're not going to come from the University of Chicago. They're going to come from the dirty South, Tobacco Road, baby. And as they say, what good comes out of Nazareth? What good comes off Tobacco Road? But it has to come from here. There's no other choice, because in American history, this place has been catalytic in every major moral event that has occurred since the colonial period to this morning. The ancestors of you people have been catalytic in everything. So they lay it out here. He just laid it out here. But it's not just his voice. It's all of your ancestors' voices who called from the grave. And they know what they stood for in this place. So don't feel yourself too shy if you don't have it all. Don't feel yourself not strong enough. I can barely stand up here. I ain't got long before I'm going to fall out. I don't have strength. I don't have a whole lot of genius. There's a lot I don't have. I ain't got no money. I'm broke as a teacup fell off the Empire State Building. But I know there's something in this place. So take my advice, and when you walk out here and you're challenged and you have stuff to do and you're out here doing kingdom work, stick your fingers in whatever that is up there. When you stick you in the sockets, you got two little things you stick in the sockets and you get your electricity. Take your fingers and walk outside in this Carolina blue side. Stick your fingers in this thing and be imbued. I don't know what somebody going to go out here and I hope it knocks you out for a month. And when you wake up on fire. And it's because of where you are. Keep in mind that whatever you feel individually, that ain't the case. Because collectively, this place has a history. Collectively, you are special. And remember what my old gray-haired grandma said to me. If you can't be a pine on top of the hill, be a shrub in the valley, but be the best little shrub by the side of the rill. Be a bush if you can't be a tree. If you can't be a bush, then be a bit of the grass and some highway happy to make. If you can't be a muskie, then just be a bass, but be the liveliest bass in the lake. We can't all be captains. Some of us got to be crew. But there's work for all of us here. Greater to do and lesser to do, and the work you must do is the near. If you can't be a highway, then just be a trail. If you can't be the sun, then be a star. For it's not by size that you win or you fail. Just be the very best of whatever you are. Stick your fingers in this, Greensboro, Guilford County. Come on.